welcome to Tae Kwon Do Training. I'll be your instructor for today's show, Bob Lemire. Before I start today's show, I'd like to just send a big shout out to Heidi, who I heard watches our show religiously and watches a lot of DA TV shows. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and we appreciate it, Heidi. Okay, on today's show, what we're going to do is combination kicks. I'm going to try and make them as easy as as easy as I can. You've stretched for about 20 minutes, and then what you want to do is start slowly. I'm going to go slowly, and we're going to just, if you want to work out with me, follow me step by step, and I'll show you a couple of different kicks. And when I say combination kicks, I'm just going to be doing 2 combinations, all right, or a combination with 2 kicks, excuse me. All right, so that'll be easy. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to start off again with my fighting stance. Remember my fighting stance, just like you're walking. You notice I say that every week, so I want you people to understand the balance of a fighting stance. All right, this is a good fighting stance right here. All right, shoulder width apart, knees nice and bent, ankles nice and loose. Just a walking as you're walking. There you go. There's your fighting stance. Could be a little wider if you want, a little shorter, but somewhere in between there where you're used to that kind of walking every day, so you're used to fighting stance. All right, let's go. Hands always up. Our hands are always up. I'm going to make them real easy in the beginning, and then I'll give you some advance at the end. All right. So from here, what we're going to do is let's try a front snap kick and a side thrust kick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. One, doing the kick, touching the ground and doing the other kick, and one, doing the kick and keeping your foot in the air and doing the kick. All right, so front snap, side thrust kick. So front snap kick, remember, look at my foot as I chamber, all right? All right, so I'm not keeping my foot this way. I'm going to do my front snap kick. So it's up and kick, all right? It's up and kick. All right? Up, kick, down, back, all right? Up, kick, down, back. Notice when I chamber, kick, come back and down. I chamber, kick, I chamber again, then come back down. I don't kick and drop. A lot of people will do that. You're like, da, da. And when you do that, now you're off balance. You're not even in a stance. So if you can kick, right? Look how easy that is. Nice and fluid. I'm going to keep it midsection so you at home can just practice along, midsection, even low section. All right, that's a front snap kick, pretty easy. Side thrust kick. I'm going to start it. I'll do it easy, touch the ground first after the front snap kick. Now, a side thrust kick is, right? And a lot of times I tell my students to do this with their foot, all right? Do this with their foot to get the right foot positioning and get that knife edge, we call it, to hit your opponent or hit the board. Because if you hit it flat, it's a slap. But if you hit it with the knife edge, you get all that, you get that short little part of your foot that's going to hit another small part of whatever, and that's where all the explosive power comes from. All right, too small area, or a small area hitting a large area, excuse me. And the small area will be the knife edge. Okay, so side thrust is this way, okay? Up, kick, down, and back. Up, chamber, kick, and back. As you get used to it, you try to pivot your foot into it and get your hip into it, but in the beginning, that's fine. So that's a side thrust kick. Up, kick, down. You practice cover, you look in a direction. You'll notice sometimes I say that and I'm looking forward while I'm looking at the camera trying to talk to the audience here. But whenever you're going to kick anywhere or do any kind of technique, try to look in that direction, even if it's peripheral. Even if you're going to look over the side, you want to look at what you're kicking. And that's practice too. You get used to doing that. Okay, so that's your side thrust kick. Now, when we're going to do a combination, we do a front snap kick. I'm going to drop my foot in front of my other foot here. I'm going to turn, then do my side thrust kick. All right, so here's your side thrust kick to the side. But I've already turned. All right, make sure your foot, you have the knife edge. Down, kick, and back. All right, so from here, front snap kick, down, side thrust kick. That's a combination. All right, so you could say low section, then midsection or high section, side thrust. All right. That's pretty easy. And what you do with technique like that, it's, combinations, you work on them, and you work on combinations that you like. We have all these different kicks. You put different kicks and blocks with your kicks together, and then you get your combinations. And after you get two, you can add on unlimited amount of combinations one after another. But you have to start with something very easy like this. So you're in a fighting stance, your hands are up. Very important that your hands are around here. Right? They don't always have to be up here. Right? You know, although you see some boxers fight or martial arts fight, they want to keep that head. They want to keep that head from getting hit. And it's so easy to come down. It's a little more difficult to come up. If you're up here, gravity is going to help you. I like to stay here because then I like to throw a punch, all right, or some hand technique. I'm throwing kicks, but now I'm ready to block and throw some hand technique. All right, so you're in that fighting stance, front snap, touch, side thrust. Now, when I do the front snap and I touch, see how I'm touching with my toe, not my toe, but the ball of my foot. I'm kind of curling my toes back. I'm not going to kick and slap my foot flat on the ground. I want to get that little bounce. All right. So I'm using my ankle. I'm using my ankle as a spring in my knee. So I go one, boing. All right. So it's front snap, boing. See that? You don't have to make that noise, but boom. And that's where gets you your speed. Now you're already in the back fighting. You're in a fighting stance with your back foot. You kick. You already got a good momentum going. Kick down. That's your side thrust kick. All right, it's front snap, side thrust. And you can actually, a lot of times when we do board breaking demonstrations, exhibitions, or what have you, a test, tournaments, combination kicks, boy, they always win, especially if you do a lot of them. So you could do a front snap kick low or mid, and then a side thrust a little higher. Or a front snap kick to the side, front snap, side thrust to the front. Pa-pa. And the faster you do it, the more points you would get, and you do pretty well. But as you keep practicing it in the mirror or with a student or a friend, you want to have a certain area you're always pinpointing. So if it's going to be low section, it's low section. You practice that. Midsection, high section. So you have the pads, and you make sure you constantly concentrate on that. So that when you need to use something like this in a situation for self-defense, you've already pinpointed where you want on your opponent's body. So 1, down, 2. All right. So say I went to the knees first, knees down, side thrust, midsection, or even low section. So that's touching the ground. Your body has to be very loose as you're doing this. So you got to be relaxed. You got to relax. In the beginning, you might be tense because you're not used to it. The more you do anything, the looser you're going to get, the more confidence you're going to get, and you're going to be flying. And then the practice of the constant movement is a whole body workout. It's a great body workout, and muscle memory, and get your bones, everything stronger. The more you work out, the more you train, the stronger you're going to get. All right, and the faster you're going to get. So always remember that. All right. All right. So front snap, kick, side thrust. Now we're going to keep the leg up. Now this is going to be a little more difficult, especially when you're new students. But what I practice is that. All right. See that? I do a front snap kick. Then as I turn to do my side thrust kick. All right. See how I pivoted on the ground. I kicked and pivoted. All right. I'm not kicking and keeping straight. I can't. I almost tried, and I'm going to fall over. You can't do a side thrust straight. You've got to turn your body. And the only way to turn your body is to pivot that foot. That's tough. You got to almost get up. And if you're on a rug or some mats that we work out, you stick to the floor. So you've got to really improvise, get used to different ways on how to pivot. That's a show in itself, let me tell you. All right, so front snap, and let's see how that kind of works together. After I did the front snap kick, I just turned my body, but I kept my leg up. All right, I kept my leg up. So I did the front snap, boom, and I got ready for the side thrust right away. So after I did the front snap, I chambered and kept it there. All right, that's a good way to practice front snap, side thrust, keeping the leg up. And boy, that strengthens your legs. All right, in the beginning it might be tough because, you know, a lot of people will go front snap and then drop. Even higher rank, and I got to tell them, you're dropping your leg. You know you can't drop your leg. All right, you do a front snap kick, you keep that leg up. All right, your leg starts here. You do the front snap kick, you turn, you keep it there. All right, that's what you have to do. You can't go. When you come down here, then you got to bring it back up. You've lost a second. You've lost a second. All right, so you're here, front snap, side thrust, keeping the leg up. So first one, front snap, side thrust. This one, front snap, side thrust. All right, front snap, side thrust. All right, that's how you practice. You go and bring it. Then from that point, you have the side thrust kick. It's pretty easy. It's not bad. And sometimes you want to practice just from the fighting stance, a pivot. See my bottom foot, this foot here, right? See how I pivoted? Right? And if I'm going to really pivot, I'll pivot into my kick. All right? Say I'm going to do certain different kicks. I'll pivot right into it. Right? See, I'm almost facing myself or my opponent. That's your front snap, side thrust kick. All right, so let's do another one. All right, so now you have an idea how to do that. I broke that down into, I don't know how many simple steps. Let's, they keep telling me not to go behind this tape, and what do? I'm hanging around behind. Sorry about that, Mr. Muse. All right, so be here. Front step. What I'm going to do is, let's have in a crescent block. All right, in a crescent block here. That's kind of easy. Now this in a crescent block comes up. All right, so say someone had a knife or they were coming in with a stick or something or throwing a kick. Boom. All right, what you're doing is you're picking up your leg and at a 45-degree angle. All right, 45-degree angle to where you are, swinging it to a 45 and bringing it back. Now see my foot? I'm going to hit with the whole instep, right? And I'm using this as a block. This could also be used as a kick, right? High section, right? High section kick. And it's a good one. I used to use this one a lot at tournament action when I used to fight many years ago. I'd jam up. I'd go in and I'd jam up on purpose with my opponent and make sure his shoulder was this way to my kick, all right? So he'd never see it. I'd go up the back of his shoulder, all right? Actually, I meant this shoulder, all right, with this kick. So I'd go up over the shoulder and hit him in the head, all right? And it was legal, so I used to like to do that. But anyway, when we say we're going to use it as a block, all right? So we're going to use it as a block. We're going to touch the ground, all right? Then I'm going to do what we call a hook kick. Now, a hook kick, right? It's a hook, right? A hook. All right? You try, and what this is, that's why I practice a lot of hip rotations. This hip rotation is great workout to stretch and before you start stretching, and even as a cool down. That hip rotation loosens up your hips and gets them stronger. It gets everything stronger. Right? And as we get older, if we sit a lot, we don't do much exercise, we don't do much of a stretching exercise, those hips want to get tight. And a lot of times people have arthritis in their hips or they get really, really tight, and that's how they hurt themselves. Especially older people, they fell down, broke their hip. You hear that all the time. we need is to stretch and keep the juices flowing, keep the muscles strong, keep our bones nice and strong. And by doing that, that type of exercise, right? By doing that type of exercise, that'll help that. All right, so fighting stance in a crescent, all right? Fighting stance in a crescent. All right, now fighting stance in a crescent, come back with a hook kick. So I'm here, then I swing it back. All right, so I did the block, boom, boom, all right? You might notice I took a little step on that. That's habit. Because after I did my block, I like to just it makes it flow better for me, and I get more power by taking a just little step. You know, I come in, boom, and as I take that step, I push right off the foot that's doing the hook. So after I've done this, see how I've pivoted? My shoulder is facing my opponent. All right? So I've already blocked. Say they had a knife or something, right? And I come in and block that quick. All right? From here, see, my body just went right into this position. I'm picking up. I'm going to try to get 45 degrees, starting, hit my target, and come back at a 45 degrees. I don't want to come at my opponent straight with a hook kick. All right? What I mean with that is try to come straight at him, because then you turn into a side thrust. You have to come around him. You have to hook. Right? You have to hook. All right? You have to start it, say 45, hit your opponent, and then come by your opponent. You're going through your opponent. All right? So when you're practicing that, all right, that block, I pivot. Now you're going to say, wow, he's not lifting his foot. I'm pivoting. My foot's just very lightly lifting off the ground. All right? It might almost look like I'm keeping it on the ground, because you almost can't pivot if your heel is staying on the ground. It's only going to drag. So I'm so used to pivoting that I only have to get off the ground, boy, a fraction of an inch, so that I get that quick. You know, I'm not coming way up like that. I don't have to do that with my pivot. I don't come way up. I stay close to the ground, so keep my balance. I'm always trying to keep my balance close to the earth. Gravity wants to fight me. Try to keep my body as straight as possible most of the times, because me and gravity, we don't get along. And if I'm this way, gravity can win. All right? So try to remember that. All right. So pretty basic. You're in your fighting stance. Your hands are up. Your hands are up. And again, with the hands, sometimes you might see me, I'm talking, and my hands drop. When I'm really doing this and I'm training, my hands stay here, so that if I go like this, I touch my chin, always. All right? I tell my students, that's how close you want them to chin. Keep that chin in your head. You got to keep them safe. That's one of the major rules in boxing or Tae Kwon Do or martial arts. The head takes the hit, and you're done. The body can take maybe some multiple hits. The head can't take too much. Right? And not only to knock you out, the eyes, so sensitive. Everyone's eyes sensitive. You can't work out your eyes. So that's a target for us. Your nose, break the nose like it's nothing. Right? Jaw. Well, jaws go very quickly. They get hit. All right? So this whole thing right here is keeping you going. That's your main circuit board, or whatever you want, a computer of the rest of your body. Computer goes out, the body's done. So hands up, always save the head. All right, so here, touch, I turn. Now boom. I'm going a little higher, because a hook kick's kind of good for the head. Right? But you don't have to. Down. Again, see, I'm not touching my heel. I'm trying to constantly stay this way with my feet. Yeah, little Michael Jackson, right? Trying to keep my feet, all right, and my ankles so loose that I'm just springing off them. You spring off them. When you put your heel down, you're not springing off them. You've got to get up off your heel. So, do this in the mirror, all right? All right, do this. Just look at it. It's like shock absorbers. It's like a spring, right? You know that you're moving. You're moving. Now, put your foot down, right? Try to do that with your heels down. You can't move. All right, so whenever you see me working out and I start working out, I'm on my balls of my feet right from the beginning, and I'm constantly moving, trying to keep everything as loose as possible. All right, especially students starting out in the martial arts, especially Tae Kwon Do. Remember that. Try to remember the looseness that you need. All right, especially lower belts. You come in and the heels are down, and you're going to fight, and you kick, and you're back. Try to just get used to this. This is a good exercise here. And swap. That's a workout in itself. And you can do that with jump rope also, you know. All right? So as I say, we're here, fighting stance. I expect to get more kicks out and combinations today, but we got two. You have an idea of what I'm talking about. So the kicks that you might know, put two together, or something that you really like that'll flow. All right? So we had one down. I turned. I pivoted. My foot's up here. Look at it. Then you have to chamber as high as you can. When you hit with your hook kick, you can hit with the whole flat part of your foot underneath, or you hit with your heel. Now, when we break at tournaments and stuff, we're hitting with our heel. We're coming in, we're hitting with the heel, so that the heel breaks the board. Because if you hit a board with the flat part of your bottom of your foot, it slaps the board. You know, you could break it, but not like when your heel hits it. All right? And if your heel hits someone's head, that's that small part, the back of your heel, hits any large part, and all the power and energy goes through that small part to the big target. But if your flat part of your foot hits the head, it's like a slap. So you're not going to get the bang for your buck. All right. Here. Then I'm back here. Look at, I'm almost in my fighting stance because I might do another, right? And one down, two down. I'm ready to go again. I don't want to block, kick, and I see that all the time also with even higher rank. They'll be sparring, and boy, they have some good technique. They'll bah, bah. And I look, what are you landing like that for? And they, what? That's how I land. No, you got to get back. Always think of, I got another move to do. So if you do a kick and you say, I got to do another move after, you better get yourself in a good stance. All right? Something where you're fairly straight up. Once you throw your kick and you do this, look at it. Now you've got to pick this leg up or pick this leg up to do your next move. And that takes time and energy. You don't need that. And you're going to lose your flow and your power. All right, so that was two combinations I gave you tonight. All right, outer crescent, down, front round kick. All right, I'm going to go quickly. One, down. All right, so I'm in a fighting stance. Inner kick, or outer kick, excuse me. From here, outer kick. All right, boom, boom, boom. So, one block. So, outer kick is a block, down, up, front round kick, down. All right? Outer kick. You can use the outer kick for a high section kick or even to the ribs. All right? You can snap the ribs with it. You're coming up 45 degrees. You're hitting with the whole outer step of your foot with your knife edge. Right? And you're ending up. See, I'm coming back here because I know I throw a front round kick. All right? I didn't block him here and get up and throw. It's a little advanced for your thinking if you're a new student. But once I come back here, I've got the momentum to do the explosive front round kick from my back stance. All right? Because I'm here, again, look at him, bouncing off. All right? And then I go. Bouncing off, front round kick. Where if I did this block, stopped in the front, now all I'm doing is picking up my leg and throwing a front round kick. There's no power compared to you go back with a front round kick. So you can do any kick in the front. You can do any kick in the front. Not going to be as powerful as you driving it from the back. okay? Sort of like a boxer. You know, you punch to the front, punch, but it's that from back here, boom, you're throwing your hip into it. You're throwing everything into it. That's where you double your power and your speed. So those are a couple combinations. I broke them down. I like to give a lot, but then sometimes I give way too much, and it's just too much for a new student. There are people I keep meeting at the grocery store, on the streets, that watch the show all the time. Their children watch the show. And, if you can't afford or you don't have time to go to a martial arts school, watch the show. It's on a couple of times, DVR it, watch it. Get these fine pointers, and you'll know some Tae Kwon Do. And you'll have confidence that you can kind of take care of yourself out there in the street. All right? I don't know how many, 500, 600, 700 shows I've done so far, DATV and PATV, since 1990. It's a lot of shows. I know you can't go all the way back, but I try to repeat. It's a repetitive thing. That's what martial arts are. That's what any sport is. What's football? It's a repetitive thing. They're not doing much different most of the time, but it's how you move and how you have fun, and you make it your own. You have to make it your own, all right? Because everyone's different. And once you do make it your own and your own combinations, then you can show other people, and you can have fun with your friends saying, well, let's try this. That's how you feed off each other and you all learn. It's about all the time we have tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. Till next time, have fun and train hard.